Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a special video for you guys today. I've been patiently waiting for this package to arrive from Japan. It finally got here last week. According to the customs declaration, it came in at 24.5 kilograms, that's almost 55 pounds. And it's like Christmas morning here today, guys. It was torture not tearing into this thing the day it arrived, but I wanted to record an unboxing, and I had to clear my workbench and get my last project out of the way. But today's the day, so here we are. Feel free to start drooling along with me, guys. Let's take a look at what we have. There's a lot of goodies in here. We have 6 systems, 12 controllers, and a few games. What we're looking at here is a big Neo Geo haul. I've only ever experienced the Neo Geo in emulation. I've never gamed on one in real life. I've never even seen one in real life. We have one user manual here. Looks to be brand new. This should be fun to flip through later. Out of everything in this box, just one system and 2 controllers were advertised as working. Everything else in this box is untested. It was sold as junk. For some reason, Japanese sellers advertise faulty and untested systems as junk. Junk means trash. This is not trash, but that's just the language that they use. And you see me turning each of these controllers upside down. I'm actually just looking at the screw holes to see if they've been taken apart. Later, I do come across 1 or 2 that were missing rubber feet, but if any of the rest were taken apart, those were put back together really well. I am noticing a theme with the arcade sticks. It looks like all the ball tops have hairline cracking. That should be a standard arcade component, so once I get to refurbishing these, that's something I can swap out. This gamepad's what would have normally shipped with the Neo Geo CD, and there should be a couple of those in this box. Now, when the Neo Geo came out, it retailed for $650, and that's without any games. The games cost between $200 to $250 for one cartridge. So for the price of one Neo Geo game, you could get a Genesis bundled with Sonic, or a Super Nintendo bundled with Super Mario World. So needless to say, the Neo Geo was only accessible to a niche market, but the system was much more powerful than any contemporary home console at the time. It had superior graphics and sound, and in essence, it was arcade hardware for the consumer market. Alright, here's the first one. Let's take a look. Wow. I couldn't even articulate what I was feeling in this exact moment. First impression? This thing is huge. It's sleek. It almost has a low profile style design, but it's big. And big is a common theme with this system. Serial number on this first unit is 183K. There were several revisions of the Neo Geo AES. The early systems run on 5 volts, 3 amps, and the later systems run on 9 volts, 1 amp. And frustratingly, the serial numbers are not a perfect way to identify which revision you have. This one has a lower serial number, it's 55K. This is probably a 5 volt unit. Here's another unit. This one looks really nice. Another 180K serial number. Chances are this is a 9 volt unit. I'm gonna have to come up with a way of carefully testing all these systems. I may have to open them up to determine whether they run on 5 volts or 9 volts before I even plug them in. And I think I'm gonna have to buy some high quality power supplies as well. With such high value systems like these, the last thing I want to do is feed them dirty power. And here we have the Neo Geo CD. I wasn't necessarily shopping for the CD, but I wanted the lot and it came with it. And there's something rattling around inside there. Not what you want to see. Obviously that's not a good sign, but I knew what I was getting myself into when I took a gamble on this slot. Another system in really good shape here. Cosmetically, all the consoles themselves have looked great so far. And it looks like we have a 124K serial number on this one. Alright, this is the last system. Also looks like it's in great shape. Impressions at this point, looks like a few controllers might have taken a beating, but the consoles themselves are turning out better than I expected. There are a few games in here as well, and I'm gonna need a couple for testing, but they certainly didn't make this purchase any cheaper. Let's look at some video snaps while I examine these cartridges.
Round 1, fight!
So those are the games. This is the Neo Geo CD power supply, very quirky adapter. It outputs 10 volts and 5 volts together. And this is one of the later revision Neo Geo power adapters. These came in both 10 and 11 volts, and I think the system would just regulate it down to 9. So there we have it, guys. 1 Neo Geo CD, 5 Neo Geo consoles, 3 loose carts, 2 boxed carts, 10 arcade sticks, 2 gamepads, and a bunch of AV cables and power adapters. I'm excited to learn more about this system and understand how it works. I'm pretty sure we're going to have several motherboard revisions in the slot, so it's going to be a good way to become familiar with all the different variants that are out there. On any system we get working, I'll be installing a BIOS mod so that we can flip it into English, and that's one of the cool quirks of the system. The system itself determines the language of the game, not the cartridge, so we'll be able to switch between both the Japanese and US version of all these games. The controllers on the system feel amazing, by the way. That's a very satisfying click. I understand the system costs a small fortune, but they did not skimp on the build quality at all. And I never knew this about the gamepad, but it's got a legit joystick in there. Listen to that clicking, guys. Why did this concept not catch on? This thing feels amazing. And I'm just reacting to the feel. I haven't hooked anything up yet. I wish more retro systems had controllers like this. And just for comedy, guys, look at the size of this game case next to a Genesis game case. All those provocative Neo Geo ads from the 90s begin to make sense. SNK knew it was going after a mature market, and they didn't hold back. And these were print ads that ran in magazines. These weren't like late night TV ads or anything like that. And like I said, I totally get it. These game carts are a behemoth. Look at a Genesis game cart next to this thing. Doesn't that look ridiculous? I gotta say, I feel a little bit more manly just holding a Neo Geo game cart. Yeah, my game cart's bigger than yours. Check out my cartridge slot. Double penetration. You got a Genesis game cart? That's adorable, little buddy.